Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting, hair-raising, fun-filled, expeditious episode of Radiorama, where I show you how to work on radios, televisions, stereos, and today we have this pretty generic General Electric, says Stereophonic record player. We've got two tags on it. It says repossessed, $149.95 stereo, both units, now $79.98. It has another tag that says sale price $89.95. So this thing, someone either didn't want it or it got repossessed. I don't know what the story is, but it's very strange. So now I'm going to go ahead and give it a test fire. 99% of the time these do not work. Yep, we got nothing here.
I don't know, I'll test it out.
Yeah, we're pretty dead here. Fascinating. That seems odd. It would surely do something. Let me see if I've got it plugged in correctly. Let's try this again. Turns out the plug was really dirty and covered in filth. So first of all, right away, that's very encouraging that you have at least a spinning platter. I'm waiting for the electrolytic capacitors to start making their god-awful noise before I turn it off. It doesn't really seem to be humming. We have volume. Obviously the volume pot's pretty dirty. Let's see if we got needle. Oh, that's pretty loud. Or if it works. So I went and grabbed a record. Mariachi music. Oh, come on. Get out of the way. Alright, now I'll put this on. Let's give her a whirl, see if it works. Well, it's playing on 78. That probably explains it. I guess the electronic gods are smiling on me today because usually record players don't work at all. But this one seems to work, but we can't just let it go like that. We need to do an overhaul job, so I'm going to need to take this panel off, get the record player out, and probably do a recap job on the amp. Alright, well here is the innards. And it is typical 1950s General Electric cheap goodness. And it's not been overhauled, that's all original. And you're not going to win any contests with this puppy. 25C5 is the output tube single-ended. That gives you a total of maybe a watt of juice to deal with.
Air conditioner, power conditioner, $1,800.
And we have the selenium rectifier down there. That brick red thing, we'll have to replace that as well. Ain't much going on here. These screws will take the record player out so I can take a look. Clean up the mechanical aspects of it. Alright, after some prodding from some other folks here, I wasn't going to make a video about this because, frankly, the way it's laid out is fucking aggravating. Like, look at that.
Prod.
Everything is completely separate and screwed onto this board. And the other thing, too, it's like they're lying. General Electric, they lied about this. It says it's stereophonic. There's no way it could be stereophonic. You've got one tube and one output transformer. Yeah, you got those. You can play stereo records, I'm sure. I'm not sure how they weaseled their way out of that, but look at this. It's like cheaper than cheap. This is why I hate working on General Electric crap from this era. Alright, here's the little chassis. I'm not sure what I was on in that wafer, but there's probably all kinds of resistors and capacitors. But anyway, here's the electrolytics. We have a red 100 microfarad and a 50 for the blue, and the black is the common negative. Be easy enough to do. I'll just like mount surface mount cap there. Where's our common negative? Over here.
So the tube is
here. Need to replace that selenium rectifier too with a solid state diode. Well, alright, so I kind of jerry-rigged all the wiring back together to test. Wasn't much to do on this thing. There's two electrolytics. That little tiny thing right there, that's the replacement diode for the selenium rectifier. And we got a safety cap, that orange thing in the back, X2Y2 across the line cap. So now all I need to do is do a little bit of lubrication on this changer mech. Put it back together, give it a test fire. Okay, now that I got the electronics restored, it's time to do the mechanical part, which is the turntable. First thing I'm going to do is take this little spring C-clip off of the center of the spindle, pull the record platter up, and then we'll take a look at the friction wheel. One of our members has allergies, that's why he's coughing, by the way. Alright, welcome back to day number 2 of working on the kind of fugly General Electric record player, and I had a setback because it was my own stupid fault. Initially, after I recapped the little amplifier unit, I wired it back in, and I hadn't paid attention how I'd taken the wires off the record player. And I was having this weird issue where I'd have very little sound coming out while it was on, but as soon as I turned it off, I'd get a brief burst of sound. Long story short, I wired the switch in backwards somehow. I don't know how to explain it, but what was happening was I was getting very little B+. When it was on, as soon as I turned it off, it went to full B+, even though the tubes weren't lit anymore. Very strange. So I've marked these with tape, so I know which one goes where on the record player. And I took the record player out because I need to take it apart, grease it up, clean it up, and all that nonsense. And this is held in by these little flipper thingamabobs. I'm not sure what you call them. They're little brackets that hold it in, and it rides on a set of springs. I'm not a record player guy, but that does not look like a Voice of Music record player. I don't know who made it. Maybe it was General Electric's design. Some of the large OEMs had their own record player division. I know that RCA was huge. They were at one point the world's largest manufacturer of record players. And clearly this is not RCA, since General Electric was a fierce competitor of RCA. But I'm gonna have to take this off and clean and oil the mech. Luckily the rubber friction wheel is in great shape. I'm going to oil the bearings on the motor. Basically, so hopefully the changer mechanism will work. Good luck. I have very little luck when it comes to that, but we'll see. Alright, now it's time to clean the old gunk out of here. I know this is probably actual proper record player cleaner stuff, but I find for some reason, maybe because it just dissolves everything in its path, brake cleaner works great on dissolving all the gunk out of there. You want to do it over a pan that collects it. It'll evaporate pretty quick. Stuff's pretty nasty and toxic, so but basically just want to get everything that moves freed up. Work that back and forth a little bit. That's already starting to free up pretty well. I don't know how, but we wound up getting the world's loudest washing machine. You can hear it back there just clanging away. Whatever, I got it at a yard sale for like 50 bucks, so I shouldn't complain. Anyway, we'll follow up with some WD-40 and then some very, very light machine oil. And you don't want to use a whole lot either. Alright, now it's time to WD-40 the crap out of it. And try not to get it on your rubber parts, like the friction wheel and stuff. That's why I tend to set them upright like this, so none of this crap will drain down to the rubber bits. And again, you just want to kind of work it in a little bit. That's already feeling a lot better than it did. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that drain and evaporate, and time to work on the cabinet or the case or whatever. It's pretty dirty. I'm going to bring it out here and clean it so I don't get the crap all over my garage floor. Alright, so now it's time to work on the case. I got a hot rag and some Simple Green, which I buy by the gallon. Cleans just about everything from car engines to record players. And you just want to kind of like do a general scrub down of the leatherette case. It's already looking better. I don't know about that front. It's made out of carpet. Probably use a paintbrush to get the dirt off and maybe go over it with a damp rag. But you can see how much dirt is already coming off this thing. And just go over all of it, probably several times. Don't get it too wet. This is a leather plastic crap material, and it's held on with, it's like basically wallpaper. So if you get it too wet, it might start peeling up. Alright, it's all back together again. Again, I have mixed feelings about the styling on this. This will probably be a blue light special at our next event, because I just can't see anyone really falling in love with the way this looks. But it sounds pretty good, actually.
Can be just a glance at you, man, love from the start, and oh, what a thrill came into my heart, little girl, with your cute little ways, I am yours.
Anyway, I'm just going to let it sit here and spin for maybe an hour or so. I want to make sure that if anything's going to thermally break down, especially since the case is all put back together again, and those tubes generate quite a bit of heat, that is going to happen under my watch and not randomly at someone's house, at which point then I would have to retrieve and repair. So this is what I call my burn-in period. I usually let everything that I've worked on burn in for a few hours at the very least. Alright guys, this was kind of a shorter episode, but as always, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down in the comments section below. And until the next time something like this, TV, radio, whatever, comes across my workbench, see you next time. Adios.